Hello, Miss Taylor. Principal Hodder wanted me to interview you after the meeting. Can you tell me about yourself?
I'm sorry, I have a parent waiting for me. I promise I'll finish this later for you, okay?
So, my name's Stephen Griffin. I have 3 children. My youngest daughter, Julie, is 7. She was diagnosed as autistic. My wife, Donna, overdosed when Julie was 3. I work several jobs and I try to do what I can. Julie, sometimes she comes home and she's crying. And she's like, Daddy, why are they laughing at me? What's wrong with me? And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with you. I don't know what's wrong with these kids.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Robbins. What people don't understand is I, too, am alone. They don't understand that I go through the same things that they do. I have no one to help me as well. I get frustrated, I get angry. I do all of those things just as they do. They have no idea. I'm just like them.
Did you let your parents sign your permission slip to the STEM conference yet?
Game time tonight. I'm not missing that trip or anything.
I already got my snack list for the trip and my questions for the teachers.
Got it, Staxx.
Snacks? Y'all need to be talking about that homework y'all gotta do tonight. I know y'all heard me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all must want me to come on the trip too.
No.
Are you sure that this here meeting is for us?
Yes, I'm sure. I mean, we're here, right?
I'm really not comfortable with talking our business in front of all these people.
Those people are here for the same reasons that we are. Our child has special needs and their children have special needs.
There you go with this special needs crap. Look, don't start, because you know me. I'll walk right out of this damn place.
Look, now some of them might be in denial just like you are. But they're here to see what and if anything can be made better.
You act like somehow we can reverse what's wrong with Trey.
Look, I'm going in. So you can either go home or get it together real quick and be right behind me.
Get out of here, kid.
As I discussed with each of you prior to inviting you, everyone must sign these release forms and they must be back to HIPAA today. I have to protect myself, protect our jobs, protect each of you, and most importantly, the confidentiality of each child's health if you and only you choose to share it.
Ms. Scott, will you be joining us?
Yes, I am.
Great. Now, several of you have brought up things during your IEP meetings that actually got us here today.
No disrespect, Principal Howard, but I think the best option for me is to get Craig out of your school.
And what do you plan to do? You plan on homeschooling your son?
You know what? I haven't really thought about that, but everything's up in the air right now.
I think you should think your moves out, because removing your child or transferring him will not change the challenges we face.
We? Because I don't see the we in none of this.
Ms. Velasquez, your child and everyone else's children attend my school. I gathered us here because...
No, because you care, right? Because it looks good on your resume, right?
This isn't about a resume.
Oh, it's because you have a big heart. Listen, All I'm interested is in the care that my son receives, and it is in the best place possible. Now,
Rightfully so, Miss Velasquez.
may I finish, please? Now, my son has not had the days that he's had the moments he's been having recently. Excuse me?
Your son's Javier's behavior has changed over the past 7 weeks.
And you are?
I'm Mrs. Robbins. And I've been calling, I've been emailing, I've even sent notes home with your son asking if his medication has changed.
Well, I haven't received anything in regards to that.
Everybody, this is Miss Robbins. She's one of our new special needs educators. She works with all the teachers, very closely with all the pairs and speech therapists, and very, very closely with each and every child. I'll let her speak to you before we close.
Well, I got your emails, and I must say, it's so great to finally meet you, Miss Robbins. My daughter and my son, they talk about you all the time. It seems like they enjoy coming to you more about things than they do than me, you know?
Yes, fortunately, Ms. Robbins has more time for our kids than she does for herself.
Well, I thank and I welcome you.
Thank you.
Look, can I break up this family court real quick? Because I myself have a few issues too.
Okay, you can speak, but please keep it brief.
One, I'm very uncomfortable with discussing the things that are wrong with my child with these people. Let me let that be known.
Everybody in here is a parent.
I could wrap up your release form.
He's staying.
And everybody here because they care. Oh, this ain't about to be no judgment zone, is it?
Thank you, because you took the words right out of my mouth.
No, it will be no judgment zone. Continue, sir.
Look, I'm not here questioning which one of you cares or not. The man here is allowing me to speak my piece, and I'm here to do just that.
Tell your story, man.
You see?
Can you go ahead, please?
Everybody, please let him continue.
Thank you. Look, I'm really not feeling this diagnosis and this label that's been placed on my child. So...
Somebody let me know when he's off this soapbox and when he's done.
So now we have one less critic.
Listen, either share your point or sit down and learn something.
Can I speak my piece?
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. It's just this dude. I walked up, he was out here going off on the lady he's with about being here for a meeting about some slow kids.
Maybe he's uneducated.
Maybe he's an asshole.
You know what? Both things can be true. Please, come back to the meeting.
Enough!
Yo, can we go back to discussing what we need to discuss?
I need to be heard.
And I need you to keep it down if you're going to be so close to my ear.
All he's trying to say is that our son may have possibly been misdiagnosed.
Miss Scott, that
Very well may be the case, but like I've told each and every one of you, is to have another assessment done if that's how you feel.
You know damn well that you don't want any more assessments. Because if you start getting more assessments, then the school starts losing kids, and then you start losing funding.
Ms. Velasquez, funding doesn't drive me. Anybody who knows me knows I'm all about our kids.
Yes, he is. My youngest daughter goes to the school, and I've had 2 kids come here before her. And the education has been great, and the caring of the children has been even better. When they're here, I know they're safe. Now, I don't know about these new staff issues that you're talking about, but we as parents, we have to be here. We have to go to the building and see who's teaching our children. Go and see who the nurse is. We can't just put them on a school bus and then just tell ourselves it's break time.
Well, what do we call it then?
Hey, Miss Taylor.
Hey, good evening, Mr. Griffin. Good evening, everyone. Sorry I'm late. We had an incident earlier that I just finished the report for it.
Howard, why the hell is she here? Now you said this would be a productive meeting between the staff and the parents.
And it will be a productive meeting between the parents and the staff.
Mr. North, this is not the time nor the place.
Well, I want to be here comfortably.
Well, sitting there back there by yourself ain't how you do that.
Principal Howard, is there an issue that we need to be informed of?
Miss Scott, this is an isolated incident and needs to remain that way.
No, sir, no. You're not going to sweep this under the rug, man.
Here go the drum.
Don't shush me.
Mr. North, I work very hard for all of our students, as we discussed in our hearings.
Hearing?
Look, what you do for the other students does not concern me. But what you do for my child, that does concern me, all right?
Mr. North, can I see you outside for a second?
For what? I mean, what do we have to talk about in private that we can't talk about in here? I mean, it's obvious that Miss Taylor doesn't like my kid for some unknown reason.
Why don't I like your child?
Mr. North, in no way, shape, or form is that true, and I resent that you saying that in front of these parents.
The 24/7 updates that you're requesting for your child has been discussed and denied. Each child comes home with a daily progress report, and each parent partakes in one monthly conference call. So this every afternoon update email that you're asking for cannot and it will not work.
Because if we do it for one, we have to do it for all.
And if he gets it, I want it too.
Yeah, me too. There's not enough time in the day for this to happen.
Okay, well, who else negatively filled out Craig's eval besides you, Miss Taylor?
Craig's evaluation was filled out.
No, I got this. I filled out your son's eval honestly and correctly. Now, it may not be to your satisfaction, Mr. North, but it is accurate.
This has nothing to do with my satisfaction, okay? It's about what's best for my child.
Your child is ready to transition. Craig's skills have improved in every area of the basic core living program. Craig is definitely ready to move into a larger class setting.
Principal Howard, Ms. Taylor, and myself, we all feel that Craig can successfully strive in a larger class setting.
My child needs to stay in an 8-to-1 class size.
Mr. North, we discussed Craig's positive progress, and it was partially your idea to bring this meeting here today.
And if we all come together, we can make this a smooth transition for Craig.
Miss Robbins, I hear that, but that does not address the fact that Miss Taylor lacks the disciplinary skills to handle our students.
You don't even play an active role.
Now, Mr. North, you are way out of line. And Miss Taylor, you know better.
I swear, I get so tired of this blame the teacher nonsense. Don't you know that each child is different? Just like a parent may have 3 children, you love each of them different.
Miss Taylor, there's no reason for you to have to stand there and defend yourself.
And we're going to stop this conversation right now. We had an agreement.
No, I think now is the right time.
You know, I never had a chance to discuss in any of our meetings or in our hearings, but what makes you think that I'm incapable?
You know I paid cash out of my pocket for several outside opinions to fight you in your thoughts.
Fight me? This about you and money has nothing to do with the progress that Craig is making.
You don't know me.
You're right, I don't know you, but I do know your child. I do know that sometimes the children that don't need the assistance get it, and the children that do need it don't get it. I'm not putting my signature on anything that will reversely affect my students. What's great for Craig is to migrate into a larger class size.
You ain't lied there, because there's a few parents in this school that's gotten their valuations hooked up, or should I say, use their connections to get them SSI.
This ain't about no SSI check for me, okay? This is about the best possible setting for my kid to learn in, and that's all.
Mr. North, as I discussed with you privately,
Craig, for some reason, didn't take to Miss Taylor's style of teaching, but he loves Mr. Moore.
so when we put him in Mr. Moore's class, he worked harder and got the work done.
My daughter was frustrated with the subject matter, and at first I thought it was the teacher.
Well, what if the children are being defiant due to the actions of the teachers?
These new teachers don't know our kids.
We'll help them with learning these new teachers.
This job might be a little too hard for you.
You know, I can no longer do this with you because time and time again, I've asked you to come to the classroom to see how I made the tone comfortable for Craig.
And he's not her only student.
Let me sit next down. Thanks to you, sure.
Here, let me move my bag.
Thank you kindly. Oh, Principal Howard, Miss Robbins, I'm sorry I'm late, but you know I just can't leave my baby with anyone.
It's okay, we're just about to get started.
Glad you made it in, Miss Watkins.
Now, I done told you you can call me Grandma.
Hey, Grandma.
Oh, hey, Miss Griffin. I appreciate that play date you had with the boys the other day. You know Gerard really liked whatever it is you did with the kids.
No
Here you
problem.
go.
It's my pleasure.
Hey, Grandma.
Now may we begin?
Well, let me start off by apologizing now. I know I just walked up in here, but you see, I done left my baby with his uncle, and we all know how relatives are with our kids, their patience levels.
Exactly.
I got a family that treats my son like he's some type of mosquito or something.
Child. Let me see now. What is this here you got me read?
It's a release form stating that you voluntarily would like to be here to discuss your child's wellness.
Oh, you got them big words down pat, don't you, huh? You new here as well?
Yes, ma'am, I'm new here.
Oh.
Family or not, people are going to be people, and you can't expect them to.
What, be human? I don't understand how any of this hits home for you when none of your children are autistic. None of your kids have special needs.
Mr. Griffin, I shared that with you in a private conversation.
You signed a release for today just like the rest of us. So can we bare our souls?
You know what? You're right. It hits home for me because I have a heart. It hits home for me because I actually care.
It hits home for me
because I alone care for my elderly parents.
I have 4 siblings. 4 siblings that stand by and watch me take care of my elderly parents as their lives deteriorate. So I know all too well about how the rest of you feel when
you feel like you're taking care of your child alone. I know all too well.
Yeah, I'm sure that's all good, and I'm sure your blessings are all lined up for you, but you could go and turn their light off and go home and go to sleep. I can't. I come home from working a double shift, and I go to my daughter's room, and I know I have no chance of sleeping well. And I look at her and I wonder whether I did the right thing by bringing this human being, this child, into this world.
You can't let it beat you up, son. My onlyest child committed suicide. She thought that her partying and her drug use and other activities may have caused her to have an autistic child. Now, whether it did or whether it didn't, I used to let it beat me down for the longest. Just not being there enough for her.
We all need a break sometimes.
What we also need to do is reach out. I spoke with the other parents and they said that sometimes they take their frustrations out on the kids and their families.
It's really not that easy.
Why do you say that?
I love my child, but it's not the easiest thing to admit to yourself that you have a child with special needs. It only makes life harder for some of us to maintain good attendance at work. You know what? Let me speak for myself. Because I'll just be sitting at work and every time the phone rings, I worry if something has happened or what did my child do now.
And don't try to maintain a healthy relationship.
A relationship?
What's that?
Try having your child's father walk out on you because he can't deal with the fact that his children are autistic.
And he didn't even stick around to figure out if the kids were mild, moderate, and severe.
And when he does call, all he does is blame.
Talk about it. Men like that are better off not around the children.
I can't co-sign that. That doesn't sit right with me. When men and women walk out on their responsibilities. You know, whether you're a man or a woman, you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do to take care of your children. I mean, you brought them into the world. You shouldn't just like
Look, I
go
don't want
away.
no man or no sperm donor telling me what I can and cannot do with my child. I mean, I bust my ass to build that up.
Miss Velasquez, the language.
I'm sorry. I bust my butt to build up my son's confidence. And what? I send him there for a weekend and he just breaks it down?
So, is it better to leave your child with every new boyfriend then?
How did you get that from what I just said?
Disappearing for the entire weekend?
Many of us don't get weekends off.
Look, I don't believe that anyone in here thinks that
raising a child with special needs is easy.
Walk lightly.
the door is right there. I'm here to share my weaknesses with anyone and everyone in this room if possible. Now, I've been sitting here listening to all of you, and I hear myself in each of you. And we struggled with the results of our son's ABA results and everything that it means.
Oh, did Miss Taylor do your child's advanced behavior analysis?
Hey, my man, don't put us in that.
Mr. North.
Don't even feed into it.
If I could just curse him out one good time.
Sir?
I don't get more than 4 hours of sleep at night. I have a child that can stay up for 2 to 3 days straight. My son has no sense of time, and I still have to send him to school. Now, Mr. Howard and his staff, they actually allow my child to rest when he's here. They've actually designated a place for my son to rest while he's here in school. And when he is awake, Miss Taylor and the rest of the teachers, they're doing an excellent job with him. And he can actually catch on to the verbal commands like sit down, stand up, put your clothes on, or here, hold this.
Hey, sis, what's your name? Miss Scott. My name's Pam. It's great to meet you and hear about your kids, progression, and I want that for me and mine too. But tell me, how can I do that when I don't have the help and the supported home that you do?
I'm sorry, what makes you think that I got help?
Oh, I'm sorry, I just thought...
It's okay. We're just co-parenting through this.
It's a process, Pam. Okay, my ex-fiance here couldn't deal with the fact that our son stopped making eye contact at about age 2. Since he was 2 years old, he hasn't been able to make consistent eye contact with anyone for more than 8 to 9 seconds.
And you still refuse to believe that all of this was caused by those damn vaccinations.
Because it wasn't.
How do you know?
How do you know? Neither one of us are doctors.
What I do know is that our son was never the same after he got those shots. My son went from a beautiful kid who slept through the night. He had a beautiful smile and the most wonderful facial expressions. And now all he can do is make sounds for the last 5 or 6 years.
5 to 6 years that I lived through with him. Okay? Special therapy, occupational therapy. These are things that I went and got for him.
And your damn denial. Your damn denial catered to your ego. And your denial didn't do a damn thing for our son. So pulling me into the hallway to question me about why we're here is the last thing that I needed from you today.
I love my child.
Nobody ever questioned that.
That right there was my error. I just couldn't accept what the truth was. I delayed and delayed getting educated. I delayed getting treatment to get a jump on this. I couldn't handle being the father of a special needs child and still be able to be a husband. The hardest day of my life for me was choosing my daughter over my wife.
Look, I didn't ask for this.
Wake up.
None of us did.
I wasn't given no instructions when all of this happened. Am I allowed to evaluate what I'm facing?
Ain't no instruction manual coming. I damn sure didn't ask to find out the things that I did. My job was to protect my wife and my child. So do you know what it felt like to learn that my wife was abusing my child?
How could a mother do that to her own child?
Let me just get this.
This was my wife doing this. Her mother walked out on her years ago to raise her other 3 kids. My daughter was nothing but a check to her mother. Brianna is SSI check eligible, and at one time, her mother had custody. She neglected my daughter and just lived off of her check. All she strived to do was keep the public assistance and the food stamps coming in. My daughter wasn't eating properly. My daughter couldn't bathe herself, and none of her siblings had interest in her.
So you had no need for public assistance?
No need for it. All my baby girl needed was treatment and a healthier environment.
I know that's right.
But I failed at that. I took her out of a neglecting situation and placed her right into an abusive one.
Son, when I tell you I can relate, I can relate. I always try to protect my grandson from adults, other kids, and sometimes himself. You know, adults can be just flat out mean and nothing but the devil.
I work nights. How much longer are we gonna be here?
And you know these kids nowadays, they different. They just laugh at our kids. because they've been making various sounds because that's the only way that they can articulate. That's how they verbalize.
My oldest son tried to kill himself. Several times. Because of the way people would stare, point and mock.
The comments people would make me want to hurt someone. The most frustrating thing for me is...
It's okay, Mr. Howard. You don't have to share.
No, it's okay. The most frustrating thing to me is how we can build up their confidence, send them on their way, and one comment could tear it all down. Everything we've worked on, everything we've built.
So frustrated.
I know I didn't know, and I don't think anyone else here knew that you had a child with special needs. I don't even apologize. I'm sorry.
It's okay, Miss Velasquez. Because I too had to choose my child over my lady. I played a blind eye to the things she would do at home, how she would teach my daughter how to act out during evaluations.
Mr. Howard, look, you don't have to share another word with us.
It's okay. I have my staff, but no one to vent to, no one to lean on. And like it was said, we all need a break at some point.
Yes, I agree. That reset is so important. My only chance of quiet is when my kids are here. And you know there's a difference between quiet and peace. I love my kids, you know, they're all I have and I'm all they got. But I'm resigned to the fact that I'm never going to experience true peacefulness for myself.
God will send you the right one.
I don't want God to send me no company, because that's all they be. I lost myself a long time ago so I could take care of me and my kids. I ain't got time or the energy to love somebody. I mean, I don't have time to love nobody. I don't have anything to offer.
You have to open yourself up to let a friendship in first.
That's it, Miss Robbins. I don't have the time to interview somebody, letting them get to know me and accept my children. So what do I have to offer? Now listen here, baby girl. I gotta run.
Run? That's a bad choice of words coming from her.
It ain't about you, baby. Just because your kids got special needs don't mean that they don't need to see somebody love on their mama and just how love is expressed. Now, I ain't saying that you should go ahead and get you on the other side warmer, bed warmer, you know. No indictment on you, young lady. Now, whether it's a relationship or a hallucination, you got to find you somebody.
Did she just say hallucination? I can't. I'm tired.
Now, don't you stop living. Okay? Come on, baby. Come and give me a hug. Come on. Give me a hug, $20 or something. Oh, all right now, child. I ain't the one, so you're going to have to let me go.
Grandma Watkins, I will get you anything that you missed from the meeting.
Okay. Stay strong and keep your heads up. Okay? I'm going to see about mine.
Oh, sorry, Grandma Watkins. I'm so sorry. I'm late. Is it over already?
You call me tonight when you can.
There's a seat over here. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I'm so late. My daughter had a moment again on the school bus.
Did she get hurt or did she hurt someone?
No, she didn't hurt anyone or herself or any other student. She did try to bite the matron again.
I'll call the bus company in a few and find out what happened with the matron and find out what happened with Christy as well.
You know what's tearing me down? It's the people. It's the people that just talk things that they don't know.
That's why we have to communicate to them. That's why we have to communicate everything we can to them.
Everybody don't want to understand. If it's not directly affecting them, they don't care. I talked to my boyfriend. I told him about me having a child so late. I knew that I couldn't bear a child. He didn't understand.
That's why we create this support group. We truly want to be more than just a faculty for all of you.
I gotta go.
My daughter's sitting in the car with the sitter, and I know she's tired riding around. Here, it's signed.
Listen, Principal Howard has my number.
I'll get the number too.
Thank you.
You can call me anytime.
It's gonna be all right.
I gotta go. I gotta go.
Those same incidents pushed me to educate myself, pushed me to grow, because I was in that crowd with those people. My daughter was diagnosed, and I wanted no part of the journey that lay in front of me. Everything I was told, everything I was shown, my family was torn apart by child services. My grandparents used heroin. My parents used crack cocaine. You hear about how the crack epidemic damaged our youth. Well, I'm one of the youth it damaged.
I always say that we could find a pediatrician anywhere, but there's no place that says, walk in here with your mental illness. My father had his drug issues, and my mom had her mental issues, and me and my sister were just a combination of their chemical imbalance. Even sitting here right now, I can't even stay still.
I had the same neurological symptoms. Every day the social worker would come over and try to drill into me that people with deficiencies shouldn't have kids, or at least more than one. And they tried to drill into me that my parents were emotionally equipped so they could just take me away.
Were your parents scared of you?
I was a hyper kid, but I don't believe so.
I ask because I'm scared of my children, and I don't think I'm educated enough to help them.
That's why we're here.
That's not it, the last quiz. When I was in school, I struggled with math. And guess what my kids' greatest skills are?
Math.
I was taught just to solve the problem. Now, this new math wants you to solve the problem, break down the problem, explain how you broke it down. I got two of them running.
And when that schoolwork starts to suffer and they come in to take your child away without even getting to the educational root of the problem.
That's totally not true. Because I'm a caseworker right now, and we don't just set out to remove children from their families. We don't come into work one day and say, hey, let me destroy this family.
How about the kids y'all lose? How many times do we hear or read about kids being beaten or abused because they were neglected?
Yes, that does happen. But it's also sad that there's not enough funding and staffing for our providers.
Oh, please, don't give us that the funding isn't there crap.
Do you know anything about caseloads? Do you know anything about those caseloads being heavy? Do you know anything about the, let's say, suburban graduate that comes into our community to take care of our children, but is scared of them?
And I've seen it with my own two eyes.
These decorated workers only deal with our negatives of the children that have special needs. So now you have our special needs child going to see a therapist and who chooses not to or will not relate to the culture and the community to which our children come from.
It's an uphill battle for us educators. Because many of you don't trust us. Some of you don't even take the time to give us insight on what's going on at home. I do not want to build your child's life skills based solely off of someone's case study.
What you mean we don't trust you?
We know this environment and we know our community. None of the faculty that Principal Howard has assembled is as a stepping stone to get more money. Well, hopefully with that we can build here, we can collectively work to find trust.
I agree. We do have to find a way. Because if we don't, it could be just placing our children right into the hands of those who are not proficient or could care less about giving them the tools they need to succeed the best way that they can.
Our kids can't keep getting new teachers. All it does is just restart the cycle all over again.
So let's fix us first. We must adapt so that our kids can adapt.
I feel like I can't lead mine in no areas of life if I can't help them with their homework. When I was their age, I was in foster care. And my parents were alive. You know, they weren't the best, but it just were not right. I did so well in foster care. And what did that give me? A trip
back home, right to my parents. I saw the same mistakes in myself, and I still had my kids. And a lot of what my parents dealt with was just plain old hereditary, you know. My prenatal visits, it only prepared you for like what happens at birth, but it doesn't prepare you for all this.
And I've been crying out for this help.
The help is here for you.
I love my child, and I need this.
And this group will be here for all of us, and we'll learn where everybody's at so we can all be met right at our needs.
Ah! You told me everything was gonna be all right today. You said you was gonna be by my side today in the courtroom.
Mr. Richardson, don't tell me.
They took away my child. Everything that I had in this world, snatched away from my heart. You said you was gonna be in the courtroom. Where were you, Howard? You were supposed to be there with me. The judge took away full custody away. Full, said I was unfit. I don't want to hear about that. Where were you? I have nothing to live for. I really don't. I have nothing to live for. Nothing! What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Nobody can deal with her. She has a 98.4 grade average, and nobody still can't deal with her. What am I supposed to do? Huh? What am I supposed to do? What am I gonna do? Oh, you gonna help me? Like he was supposed to do everything for me today? Right? Where were you in the court? Where were you today in the courtroom? My child is gone!
Brother, I'm sorry. Let me help you get this back right.
My baby's gone!
Let me
It's gone!
Let me help you get this back right.
My best. Oh, God, Kgama! I want my baby back! Oh, God, Kgama! Oh. My best.
Want a place where I can be. Open up my head and just do me. Don't wanna compromise. Don't wanna turn my eyes. I just want a place where I can be.